Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our resumed weekly Steelchair, where we've got an interesting show. I mean, the title of today's show is just Elimination Chamber preview, but that's a complete lie. For the purpose being, we do have more to get into, but the main body is, of course, the Chamber preview. Or if you live in Germany, it's called the No Escape for political reasons. But of course, we've already got people watching on Twitter because I reactivated my account for this. So welcome one and all, and welcome my co-host Eilidh, who has a particular choice of destruction on her hands. She's also got some interesting points to make, which is again completely valid. But in the meantime, we have Night Driving in the background because it's a welcoming tune. Get your comments, get your likes in. If you're watching over on X, feel free to come over to YouTube as well, the Weekly Steelchair, and subscribe, and then jump back on X if you want. By all means, do that. But in the meantime, co-host, how are we?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Coming to the end of a bit of time off. I've had a nice week off, so it's been good. It's been chill, and I'm ready to, as you say, come at things from a slightly different angle, at least based on what I saw on the YouTube and the comments and things following last night's SmackDown. But anyway, before we jump into any of that, how are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm still living, I suppose. We just carry on. But I'm not too bad actually. We'll just leave it at that. I've no long came back from playing mini golf, so that was a little bit relaxing. So yeah, after a stressful week, a bit of mini golf definitely took my mind off some things. So that'll do.
Yeah. And speaking of stressful weeks, well, WWE most certainly had one. And it was made official after the press conference that Cody Rhodes will be trying to finish the story. It will be Cody versus Roman. I still don't think we were being worked. I think they genuinely thought we would be okay with the switch. And they basically said, we went, no, we're not okay with that switch. And we complained enough that they went, no, they're not okay with that switch. Okay, change it back. Say that The Rock's working them. And it led to last night where we were told Rock and Roman in the same ring at the same time. So before we jump into critique of this, and I'll call it critique, I'm not calling it criticism in itself, because, it wasn't all terrible. There was something that I liked in it. What would you have thought? So SmackDown preview, and they say Rock and Roman will be in the ring, live microphone. Reports come out to say that there is no script as well.
True.
So what are you then thinking? What do you think there's going to be like tension, or do you think it's a buddy? Like before the episode, what did you think it was going to be?
Well, I don't know about yourself, but for me, I was hoping we'd get a little bit of creative intuition, where we know, like, when it comes to recent promos for Roman, for example, one thing in particular he did say last night, it's kind of intriguing because half the time I barely pay attention to this guy because he just chats shit. But one thing in particular they said last night was, some things we do say have meaning, so actually listen. But when you look at the actual promos themselves, they've all been the same sort of flow and scenario. It doesn't really have like a creative spark. It doesn't really. I know you find Roman's promos like encapturing, and they have like. I
think he's a very engaging, and as this heel, I think he's a very charismatic talker. And I think if you offered me the chance to either listen to him talk for half an hour or watch one of his half-hour ref interference matches, I would choose to listen to an hour of his promos instead. I think he's excellent on the mic now. I think in the ring he's really let down. But yeah, I think he's and this is what I thought was good. Yeah, this is what I thought was good about the segment, though. You can rely on Roman Reigns without a script, and if you go back a decade, you wouldn't think that we could be even starting to say that. But I mean, certainly 8 years for the big dog stuff. But going without a script, being this heel, it's good.
Yeah, and this is what I was getting on to. Is like when he speaks, it's almost like a prophet in a way. Like he comes across.
I can see that.
It comes across as a bit of a prophet, and it's always that meticulous delivery or particular word choice. And I think that relates to what I'm about to say. And I didn't feel as much of that from last night, if you know what I mean. Like that's what I was hoping for, because I'm still wanting to find a reason to like this guy. I'm still trying to find a reason. I just can't. I don't resonate with him. But when I look at the contrast between what we were promised and what we got, massive contrast of letdown. Like there was
exactly, because we
there was an
thought
expectation and it was shit.
Yeah, well, we thought, or at least I thought, and I'm sure there's people out there listening who also thought, we were gonna get some back and forth.
6 already watching.
Like back and forth, a bit of engagement, a bit of interaction. This was not that. There was no verbal sparring here at all. There was no back and forth. I thought this was going to be the thing where The Rock was going to say, High Chief of the Bloodline, and then Roman was maybe going to go, well, I mean, you might be High Chief, but I'm Tribal Chief, and I outrank you, and I've taken over. And then you build a little bit of tension between Roman and Rock. Or
absolutely.
You have them be like the Nation, essentially, or like early Nation anyway, where it was just like, it was interesting guys back and forth on the mic talking about how great they are, but talking about how great each other were and being really heelish about it. Like, oh, we're the top box office draws, and Roman's like, you're the biggest movie star of all time, and Rock's like, you're going to be the longest reigning WWE champion of all time. And go back and forth and just be really obnoxious, like chew the scenery. That's what I wanted. Either not what I wanted, because I would have hated the segment, but I was supposed to in that way. If they went out and just went, we're the bollocks, and they spent like 15 minutes just going through their achievements and going, we're the bollocks, we're the best, back and forth, put down the fans together, everything like that, I would boo it, but I'd boo it in a character sense. I'd be like, oh, fuck you two. Like, but that's what I wanted to do.
But
because you're heel, and I want to say it.
But what we actually got, which initially I thought was interesting, but since I've listened to it back, and what we got was, you said it was shit, which is completely fine. Me, on the other hand, just complete confusion.
Yeah, well, the confusion is why I think it's shit. But
I'm not going to call it shit. But I can understand why you're calling it that, and I'm just calling it complete confusion because again, he's joined the Bloodline, but he didn't really do the Bloodline symbol. He did something else, which is intriguing. I mean, he can't resist his own methodology, but he's always raised.
Yeah, he inserted his own flair into the Bloodline, and that's fine. And he was going to do that. And he's the Rock, he can't just be a lackey. He's the Rock. But
this isn't Hollywood. But this isn't Hollywood Rock that we were actually thinking about. This is like I put a short video on our YouTube channel. I called it was a Bloodline Rebirth Rock. I called it because that's what it feels like. It feels like a rebirth as a heel, but I regret putting it up now because again, everybody knows how big of a fan I am of The Rock, but fuck me, man.
Well, this is what I wonder. I wondered if maybe just how big a fan you were of The Rock maybe clouded that initial judgment.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I get that, and that's absolutely fine. And like, it's weird to hear you admit it, actually. I'm kidding.
I was hoping for a complete fuck off Hollywood Rock. You know, because we got similarities. That when he was getting straight into the Utah fans, it was similar to when he used to take the piss out of Toronto fans. When he done the same to Sacramento fans, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm waiting for. This is what.
Yeah. So do you want the pedantic point first, or do you want the wrestling point? What do you want, pedantry or wrestling? Which one do you want me to explain first?
I wanted pedantry because in the sense of it, the Hollywood sense was not wrestling at all. The Hollywood Rock in 2003 was nowhere. It was nothing to do with pedantry, wrestling. It was a wrestling gimmick that inspired on himself because the fans turned on him after he'd done the favor for Brock Lesnar, who we don't discuss anymore on this channel unless things change. But the circumstance being, though, is he was more about, I'm just going to envelop the fact is like, yeah, I'm in Hollywood and I'm just going to be the Hollywood persona, and that is me on a grand scale. And it was all about the jokes, the taking the mic and taking it to a whole new level. But I didn't get it this time, and I get it was 21 years ago. What you were saying 21 years ago, you could get away with. You can't really get away with it now, but you can still adapt it a little bit. I didn't feel it this time. I didn't feel it. I just felt confused.
No, I mean, it's because now he's like involved in the storyline. You don't. It's like I said when he came out to take Cody's spot initially. I was like, okay, well, it wasn't even a surprise. This time, literally, it was a surprise to no one because you advertised it. So Rock doesn't even get the surprise pop anymore. Like, you know, and again, you know, if WWE say he's going to be on the show, he's going to be on the show. But the pedantic point I was getting to is that I had a major problem with the content of the promo. So basically, for those of you who missed it, and guys, get your thoughts in the comments, of course, on what you did think of this segment. Even if you disagree with us, you know, if you disagree with us, I promise to play nice.
Even if you actually like certain parts of it and dislike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Again, this is we'll title this appropriately. This is critiquing sessions.
Yeah, as I said, it's critique, not complete criticism. You know, I liked Roman Reigns' part of this promo because I always like the Roman Reigns parts of promos. I still boo him. I still don't want him to win, but he's a very engaging talker. When The Rock came down, it was very canned ham. But basically, the problem I had with the content of the promo, and you can help me out here if I'm maybe, as I say, if I'm being pedantic, do let me know. So Rock makes the point that Cody demanding another shot at Roman Reigns is like the Super Bowl if the 49ers demanded an instant rematch after they'd lost the Super Bowl.
Which is fair.
And he makes, well, it's not.
Like it's
he then makes the other comparison.
Yeah.
No, he makes the other comparison, going back to, you know, he hurt my beloved Utah Jazz as well, you know, because they were in Salt Lake City. But you know, he decides to take a shot at Utah, and don't worry, it's not fucking sour grapes. I was only a Utah fan in 2020 because they drafted Udoka Azubuike, and I like the name. You know, I'm not a major basketball fan, but if you asked me what the team was, it would be the Utah Jazz. And he says that when Michael Jordan rolled into this city and stole its dreams, took its dreams away, did the Utah Jazz complain and cry, or did they pick themselves up like real men? Now, of course, he's being a heel, okay? I'm not being pedantic by the sake of, oh, real men aren't allowed to cry, you know? Like, I'm not coming at this from a mental health standpoint, but it does bear saying that if that did offend some people, you would understand why, because he's basically saying real men don't cry in there, and that's not my problem with it. My problem with it is that it makes no fucking sense, because Cody won the Royal Rumble again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that Cody cried to get the match against Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
Cody earned another match against Roman Reigns, which means that
Yeah.
what he's saying is like, if the 49ers make the Super Bowl next year, which they might do. Brock Purdy's a really good player. They might draft someone and get another weapon in. They might find that way to get over the line.
Their
You
coach
know?
might come up with new plays that other teams just
Exactly.
can't adapt to. It happens.
Exactly.
It happens.
I don't see the 49ers being much worse. Other teams might strengthen around them and they might not make it. But anyway, this isn't an NFL podcast. But yeah, when we're talking about this here,
Don't worry,
Rock's
we're smart.
promo
This is
made
an
no
NFL
sense.
podcast.
Because it's like if the 49ers make the Super Bowl again next year, and then people call them fucking crybabies.
Oh,
When
you know what's
the
even
New
better?
England Patriots and Tom Brady turn up and say that they're going to take the fucking spot because Tom Brady's a bigger star. Like,
you know what would be funny? Though?
no.
Like, this is the irony part, and I do hope this happens. It's not going to happen, but I really do. I actually hope next year's Super Bowl is the exact same final, the Chiefs versus the 49ers, just so we can have mass tweets from 49ers, 49ers fans or 49ers players, Chiefs fans, Chiefs players, all chanting, "We all made it back. We're all crybabies." Just do it.
Exactly.
It would be fun.
Exactly. The 49ers get to call themselves crybabies if they make the Super Bowl again with a winning record. If they win the NFC and then get to the Super Bowl, they get to call themselves crybabies. The same way that if the Utah Jazz make the playoffs, get all the way, nearly climb the mountain, and then they lose, but then the following year they do the same again and get to the playoffs, they're crybabies because they worked hard and got back to where they were. It's, as I say, it would be more like if the 49ers do make the Super Bowl next year, but then the Patriots don't like that. So they turn up and say, no, we're going to be in the Super Bowl instead because we have Tom Brady back and he's a bigger star than you, Brock Purdy, so we'll just have it. And then if San Francisco went, no, because we're in the Super Bowl with our record. And then, the Patriots go, oh, shut up, crybabies. Like, it didn't make any sense. So when that point hit me this morning and I was watching the promo, I was like, no, this is old man yells at cloud. It is, because there's nothing wrong with Cody being back in the position that he's in. He's won the Royal Rumble, and he didn't win the Royal Rumble from nowhere either. Like, the only guy I could see stopping Cody was Punk, to the point where I predicted it.
Yep.
You know, I got that one wrong. I thought Punk was winning the Rumble. I thought Cody was going to find another way. They went with Cody.
I thought he was going to be on this, yeah. But in hindsight, it was a good idea considering that Punk got injured as well.
So they, absolutely, they went with Cody again. So, and Cody had a hell of a 2023. Again, 108 matches, 103 wins. I know that it is scripted, but you do not get to do that if the company do not think you're the next top guy. So I just did not get this from The Rock at all. And it wasn't, because for me, that then lost its heat because he was just wrong. He wasn't a heel with a point. He was a heel that was stupid and wrong. It's like Baron Corbin giving the big dog food. He's like preaching to the choir. People who find that funny, they find that funny. People who are entertained by The Rock will go along with The Rock on these rides. But reasonable people will go, well, that doesn't make any sense. Your comparison's lost all of its meaning. You've actually made it sound worse the way that you were going to steal the main event from Cody, given the fact that he earned it, lost it last year, and earned it again. It didn't make any fucking sense. And then the wrestling issue, the wrestling reason this was a bad segment, is because we didn't get the interplay, but they committed a cardinal sin because they made Roman Reigns the lackey.
Yep.
Roman stood there silently, nodding along, letting The Rock uninterrupted go on for 10 minutes. 10 minutes where he did not say a goddamn thing. And it sucked. For Roman Reigns, this guy that we've been told, like, you know, there's no one better, and he answers to no one, and he puts up with nothing, and he's the best, and he'll do what he wants, stood there silently while The Rock cut a shit promo for 10 minutes. It was bad. And then The Rock at the end saying, if you smell what the bloodline is cooking. He had a little callback to Concert Rock. That's great if you were watching Raw in 2003. I was 3 years old. I wasn't. Or SmackDown 2003 even. I wasn't watching, so I didn't care about this. And yes, I've seen the clips of the Rock concerts. We've talked about them before. But I didn't feel nostalgia because he did it. Because it wasn't my childhood. So I'm not going to feel nostalgia because I've seen that on a video once on the network. Like, it's just not going to be
that's
the
reasonable.
case. So
I mean, I was fortunate, but
I thought this failed. Yeah, so I thought this failed. It was not what it could have been. It didn't go anywhere. It seemed a cheap way to get people to stick around for the main event.
Yeah, it did. And this just comes down to it, because, again, we know Rock has responsibilities above board, but he doesn't have overall creative control. We discussed this on our last show. We thought he would have an element to overrule certain things, and that's fine.
But he is probably booking his own stuff, and there was no script for that promo, so we can't blame a writer.
Absolutely not. So there should still be some extent of, even if there's no script, there should still be a sign off of, one, how long you're going to get, and two, the actual barn of what is going to happen. Again, this could have been prepared so much better on all fronts. Scripted, not scripted, regardless, this could have been prepared in so much better. But additionally as well, they picked the wrong timing. Don't get me wrong, I've always liked the Rock promos, but if there's one critique I've always believed for the Rock, when it comes to promos, the Rock's promos are better if they're at the start of the show, or if they're in not at the end, but maybe towards the end before your main event match. In terms of closing out shows, particularly between, I would say, August '99 is when I can remember one of his first major promos that didn't work as a closing show promo. But then the following week he went back to the opener and it worked perfectly. His closing show promos never worked well. They're better to open a show.
Do you remember the flat? Do you remember the flat era of the Bloodline?
Easily. It was crap.
When they would end shows and Roman would just come out and tell us to acknowledge him, as if we hadn't already been doing that.
Yeah, it was a waste of time.
Yeah. This had that same energy. It was we've got The Rock and we've got Roman Reigns. What more do you want? I was something to happen. Or main event with Logan Paul.
This should have been either open the show or the start of the second hour. Going at the start of the second hour.
Main event with the Logan Paul match.
Yeah. Not that
because it was
the fans as well weren't into it as well. The fans they cheered initially, and then obviously Rock shut them down and all that shit. But
have I mixed the opponents up?
For what?
Because Dominic Mysterio, it was Miz, Dominic Mysterio, Logan Paul. I can't remember the last. I'm drawing a blank on the last name in the qualifiers last night, or for Raw.
I can't remember.
It's whoever's fighting, because Logan Paul and the Miz, but I think it's Miz versus Dominic. I don't remember who Logan Paul's fight.
Sorry, I'll get you just now. 2 seconds.
Yeah, I've lost it completely. I've lost the thread. It's those three and someone else, so basically vying for it. But yeah, fucking just put Logan Paul in the TV main event then. or something that people want to watch. Kevin Owens or something. Like, Jesus.
Well, he's
Just
a bit of a
not
mixture at
this.
the minute.
It's not this. None of this. No one wanted this. Surely, anyone who was booking this in their head did not want this. They didn't want it to be that.
Last night's card was Owens versus Mysterio, Miz versus Paul, Vega versus Stratton, and Alba Fire versus Naomi, which we'll come to that when we discuss the preview of the Chamber, because
yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh dear God. But yeah, so just stop ending shows with these. Put them at the 9 o'clock hour where you want the big star, and move on. Just move on.
If you always end the show with these people, eventually the fans decide to fuck this, because they've done that to companies before.
It's more just like you can end with those people. Yeah. No, end with the same people, but matches. It has to be matches. We don't want to watch you talk every week for 10 minutes. And I said it recently, the Bloodline always main event. Yeah, it's great, but they needed to have more to do than this. This was poor. And if Roman Reigns looked like nothing, remember how nothing Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa look when Rock isn't there? So now that Roman Reigns is shut up and the Rock's talking, it makes Solo and Jimmy feel even smaller, because now the guy that they're not allowed to talk to isn't allowed to talk. It's just bizarre. I don't know why they did it that way. I don't know why they did it that way. I can't fathom why they did it that way.
I don't think they knew what they were doing. I think they had an idea in their heads. It massively backfired. Simple as
it just did not work.
Yep, it just massively backfired. And
speaking of not working, we obviously have some Elimination Chamber preview to get into. Some of this doesn't work, but I'm hoping it'll be fun anyway. Right, so I think we should probably discuss the Chambers last. Start with the match that, I mean, there's only one reason for it happening, and there's only one winner. Rhea Ripley defending her title against Nia Jax. I don't think I need to ask you who you've got. I think we know. Do you think this match will be any good? Do you think Nia can do it again?
See, I think it's got the makings of being a good match. I mean, I think it does. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think the one thing that Nia Jax definitely has on her side now compared to a few years ago. Again, it's not her fault. She got heavy trolled and shit for it. Very big, heavy woman. No disrespect. She is big and she's heavy, but since she's returned, a little bit more mobility to her. So she's got a bit of room to move a bit more, which has certainly helped. And she is going to the ring with somebody who is on her own level that nobody they have is actually close to. Like, Rhea Ripley's just on a level of her own that even aspiring to is important. Nobody's getting there though. She's just transcending her own role. I think this match will be okay. I'm expecting maybe 12 to 14 minutes max, give or take. You can't put them out for 20 minutes. Nia Jax will be gassed after like 13, 14. She'll be completely gassed. Rhea Ripley.
I think this has got to be like your 8-9 minute match.
I would have this match out first. Yeah. I would have this match out first, to be honest. Hometown crowd, get it off and running. I'd start with Rhea Ripley, to be honest, and then I'd go. Goes a bit nuts, but I would actually do the women back to back. I would do Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax and go straight into the women's chamber, or you just do the nonsensical title matches, then the chambers last back to back. I don't care which order they go, but I would go with this one first. start big.
I
with
would think they're going to
Rhea.
open with the women's chamber,
Would make sense
and
because they do
then
that.
they'll do
Yeah,
the other the tag title match.
but they do that on like main shows. If it's the Rumble or Money in the Bank, they always seem to just start with the women's match. So yeah, if they start with the women's chamber, then no problem. I think I'm gonna say it'll be okay. I think it'll be an okay match, and if anything, that's perfectly fine for the two of them. I think they'll be content with just an okay match, and I'm not expecting
Content match, like an okay match that everyone's content with, and no one gets hurt, and we'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah,
and of course, I mean, Rhea's winning because there's just no way. There's just no way that she doesn't win this match.
If she didn't win this, then I'd be very, very confused.
The show would be shat on. Like, if Nia Jax won the belt, I don't know if the Australians would take too kindly. So yeah, I think it's got to be Rhea.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just noting down our predictions as I always do.
Yeah.
I don't think the weird thing is though, right, and I think a lot of people will, is because of the fact that she's in her hometown. She's been champion for nearly a year. She is that dominant side on Raw. I think a lot of people will be expecting a Rhea Ripley masterclass, even though it's against Nia Jax, they'll be expecting this. And I know it's on pay-per-view, but to be honest, I hope people aren't expecting that, because Rhea Ripley's, people should be expecting Rhea's best performance when she loses the title at WrestleMania 40. They shouldn't be.
F is good.
I think likely she's likely to lose it, but yeah. But in the circumstance being, you shouldn't be expecting Rhea Ripley to deliver an absolute amazing match, even though it's in her hometown. She'll just be going to deliver a passionate performance. That's what I'm hoping people will realize for expectation. Don't look for an absolute masterclass. Look for passion.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair enough. I don't think you're being unreasonable there.
You know what the IWC's like? They're all insane.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's going to be someone out there who'll be like, no, this has to be match of the year. It just has to be. Like, no, it really doesn't. It really shouldn't, and it's really not going to be. But as I say, just get through this match and don't get anyone hurt. That is it. You know, I think Nia Jax has been so much better this time around that you're genuinely like, yeah, she could be on the WrestleMania card somewhere. I mean, okay, they'll have to like find the match, but you know, they could do it, and then she could be on the card, and we wouldn't be necessarily like, ooh, we've got to cope with a Nia Jax match. Like, she has been better, so just get through it, keep everyone healthy, and that's really all you have to do.
I think she's just taking her time a bit more. I think that's what's changed.
Yeah, she does. She does seem sort of, you know, someone's had a word with her and just gone, just slow down. Just, you have a lot of power, and if you don't use that properly, you're going to hurt people. So just relax.
I just wish someone would tell her in the nicest way. Listen, you're like a 300-pound super heavyweight. You're not here to move like a Liv Morgan, who's like 110 pounds, who is small, nimble, and quick, and very agile. Yeah. No, you're a big bitch that has a lot of power to her. Just be the women's equivalent of Mark Henry. Just be a brick wall.
It's not very nice to call her a bitch or the women's equivalent of Mark Henry, but you know.
She is when she comes across as a bitch, and that works. And to be fair, comparing her to Mark Henry in the sense for it is actually, I think for me, valid, because for a long time, he was just a brick of that division when he was like 2006, 2008 Mark Henry, for example. After he got injured and he came back and he was just taking the shit out of everybody. That run where he
Yeah,
had...
no, I know. My main point is once again a pedantic one. Nia Jax, I don't think, has won World's Strongest Women. So,
Oh, she never will.
you know.
But she should be just a complete,
so
absolute
don't.
powerhouse. I'm not going to compare it to the Big Slow because he was rubbish.
Yeah, I do genuinely think. I mean, in this iteration especially, Nia Jax is more interesting than Big Show. So
she's just our
let's
pace.
use that. Let's see what we can do with that. I think I think Nia Jax has been a lot better this time. Do I want to see her on top? No, not really. But as an attraction, as a sort of, yeah, we can put a little match on you. Then yeah, do it. I'm not afraid of them putting Nia Jax on the cards anymore. And that's a big win for Nia Jax.
I've always advocated for a women's mid-card title, like an IC title, and I've always said like the best two to start off would be Baszler or Liv Morgan. But
yeah, the only reason to have one of those is if they scrap the tag titles.
Yeah, but what I was going to say though is I've always thought the best duo to go with was Baszler or Liv Morgan. Because they're workhorses.
Okay, yeah.
But I actually wouldn't mind Nia, even though Nia Jax is more of a main event scene, I actually wouldn't mind Nia Jax as a mid-card champion. Like, I actually wouldn't mind.
She'd be fine, and it's also, like, it's believable. Obviously, Riho over in the Land of Misfit Toys gets a lot of shit, but she is £90. It would be like saying that Katana Chance should be the mid-card champ. Like, if she's going to be, not for a very long time, please, because she is very small and it's tough to buy that she's the toughest fucker in the company. Whereas Nia Jax, it's actually quite easy to buy that. Nia Jax, you go, yeah, look at the size of you. You could probably kick everyone's arse. Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly.
Now that she's using the Banzai drop, if you just piss her off once, she'll just sit on you.
Exactly. Like, it makes sense. Use that weight. And it's a perfectly safe move. People have been doing that for ages. And I'd much rather she do these...
Apart from the one time where Yokozuna did legitimately nearly kill someone, but again, he...
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Yokozuna is was a lot less disciplined than Nia Jax. I mean, if we're going to be like properly fair here, Nia Jax, with these injuries that she's caused, they've genuinely all looked accidental. I can't think of...
But yeah.
Did she mean to do that with the punch? Like, did she mean to cause that much damage?
The way she threw it, we'll never know, but that is her moment. The Banzai drop that Yoko did that injured the enhancement talent was awful, but apart from that, that's the only major issue he had, was that one drop where it was an enhancement talent, because we're not allowed to call them jobbers anymore, apparently, which is
but it's like it's the one blip on the record, and you're like, Nia has a few, but they've never...
True.
I've never seen malice in it. I don't think she's maliciously doing something. I don't think she's like, well, you called me fat backstage, so I'm gonna crush you properly with my weight. Like, it's never looked like that. It has just looked
the only time.
So yeah.
The only time I ever wished that she would do it was to Lana, but that was ancient history. That
should have been the payoff before she went over to AEW. But anyway, so we both agree on that one. Shock horror. If anyone in the comments does genuinely think that Nia Jax is going to win, I would love to hear why and how.
I think
so. If you want to share that would be great.
I think the only idea though is if you have Nia Jax win, is hypothetically, if Nia Jax did win, what would Rhea Ripley do at WrestleMania then? Because ideally, are you going to have her have a rematch at WrestleMania, including the Elimination Chamber winner? That would be a bit stupid. Or does Rhea Ripley have the match with Becky Lynch, but it's not for a title?
Or
I don't know.
You
just have Rhea Ripley anyway defend her title.
Yeah, or you would have to pull you would have to pull a fake injury card. And it's funny that we're just talking about this with Nia Jax, but you could do an angle where Nia Jax basically injures her in the match.
Yeah.
Which would then win Nia the title. Despite beating a heel, she'd have beaten the heel in the heel's hometown, so Rhea's going to be babyface for this match. So heel Nia Jax would definitely be booed. Absolutely be booed even more, considering she took out Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley then misses WrestleMania. But at the same time, I don't think they would do that. I think that's how I would do it. I would make sure that Rhea was properly written off, but that would be really harsh on Rhea Ripley. Basically say, yeah, you can't be at WrestleMania because we've written the story this way.
Nia did say in the build-up to the Rumble as well that she was going to win the Rumble and face Rhea. Obviously, she didn't win it, but then the following Raw, she came and said, "You're not making it to WrestleMania. Like, you're not making it."
So it's been It's been built that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they've put the bait down. Speaking of putting the bait down, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. This has been a fun little surprise. Well, thank you. This has been a fun little surprise.
Long overdue on this channel, maybe. We've been advocating for Pete Dunne to drop the fucking Butch name for a long time.
Oh, it was so nice when he did it. We
won.
It felt like the final relic of Redacted had disappeared, and we were back. This is now Triple H's again.
I'm gonna mark it accordingly on the steel chair. We're do this right. I'm gonna make sure this is appropriate.
Okay then.
One moment. There we go. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah, we did.
We got what we wanted.
Yeah, and Pete Dunne's back, and he's beautiful. But the other thing that he and Tyler Bate did that we didn't talk about, I mean, how good was the match against DIY that won them this opportunity? I thought it was great.
I was very surprised. Like, for an 8-minute match, I was very surprised that they actually won. Let alone, I'm surprised got to I'm surprised they got to the final. To be honest, I was expecting DIY versus Imperium. Yeah,
I thought they were going to have we didn't quite get it, but don't worry, Pete, we'll get there next time. But no, they've gone for it, and good on them. And it is really, really good. And this tag team's really good. DIY are really good. We're maybe starting to get somewhere again. You know, where we've just got like really good tag teams, and we won't have to keep putting singles guys into tag teams because we don't have enough tag teams.
We're also getting two guys though that were once part of a faction together. So we're actually getting that part as well. We're also getting that callback, but we're also getting not the callback this time. Obviously, one member's in TNA. What we're getting, at least, is familiarity as a unit, just as a tag team. We're not getting Peaky Blinders.
That's a good thing too. Like we're not getting. They're not like so overly character driven.
We're just technical machines.
Yeah, and I am pleased with how Pete Dunne how Tyler Bate has debuted on SmackDown, because I thought it was going to be very flat.
Long overdue debut.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's worked. And once again, Triple H has done the right thing, because he's waited for there to be a gap, for there to be an opening, and then he's gone, right, Tyler, it's your turn. Up he went. I have the perfect thing for you. I've got Pete Dunne, who's been sitting with a stupid name and a stupid tag team that's getting him nowhere. So he's going to split out, come back with you, and you two are going to be a tag team, and we'll roll with that for a bit. And Triple H is happy for things to just roll for a bit. You know, he doesn't need it's not, you've got to pay it off now. You know, he's got very clear plans, and the sad thing, I suppose, in all of that is it would be great, but I don't think they're going to win the tag titles. I would love them to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be the way that we maybe build to some kind of triple threat tag deal at WrestleMania. If, we behave really nicely and we get something very enjoyable to watch there, we could get a triple threat tag, three-way tag between DIY, Dun and Bate, and Judgment Day. That could obviously be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, in all, I'm really pleased with what they've done here. I'm really pleased with the tag scene. It's looking healthy again. But I don't know if they'll take the belts off Judgment Day yet. You've got to be careful on WrestleMania not to change too many titles. And we're fairly convinced 2 are already changing.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you feel about the idea that we can't have too many titles change at WrestleMania. If you had to make one happen before, would this be the one that you'd pick?
I think you can get away with at least 3 or 4 changes at Mania. That's it. But that's 3 or 4 across the board. Like, you have to really determine who's actually benefiting from getting the rub.
Well, we feel like both world champions are going to change, and that's a good thing.
One of the women's 100%.
One of the women's champions is probably going to change.
And will it be either Logan Paul or Gunther who drops their title? That's also the question. We'll have to wait and see. We'll find out.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I think, well, we haven't actually heard your prediction here. Do you think Judgment Day win or lose?
See, I like your idea there about is it a little bit too soon for Dun and Bate to win this, considering the fact we're coming up to Mania. It's going to be a real sense of, do you go in with a little bit of reliability, or do you go in a little bit of risk, carefree, and give these guys a chance to headline a show as a champion for the first time together on the main show? And both have their validity. Now, I actually want to see a title change in Perth, because what I want to see is every available tag team you can find, literally at WrestleMania, one off, because I don't know when they're going to split these belts. At Mania, 5, 6 teams, I'd throw them in and I would just have like tag team turmoil, elimination style rules, elimination.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say a gauntlet.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I would have them all at once, similar to like what happened at WrestleMania 18, where you had 4 teams, elimination rules. Whoever gets pinned is eliminated, comes down to last team standing, basically. I would do that, all of them at once, at like 5,
and you have the
6
Judgment Day pinned first.
Yeah, I would.
Because that way you've got the jeopardy of like, oh my god, we are going to have new tag champs, but who are they going to be? And then if you wanted to split the tag belts, you could even do a double fall.
That's exactly what I would
do. Like a double finish thing. And then you'd be like, well, I mean, they both won the match. And it's one SmackDown team and one Raw team. And then they're like, okay, well, what we're going to do? And they could build to like, oh, well, we're going to have a rematch and see who wins it. And instead, it's like Pierce and Nick Aldis went, no, we're not.
We'll have our champs. We have our champions.
Yeah. We'll just keep one each, a bit like when we were like, oh, has John Cena won the Rumble or has Batista won the Rumble? And it turned out that they both won the Rumble. You could do something like that. Yeah, I think that's fun. I would go with that.
I would like that idea, but also in the sense that I would have Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate still going to WrestleMania as champion. Gives them a little bit of extra confidence as well. But I would have this new Cat Republic, as they're called. I would have the Judgment Day, DIY. I would have the Simply Wasted Profits. I would have
Pride. I think you'll find now. Respect.
Whatever they're called. I don't care. they suck to me. I would have New Day because they're always there, and it makes sense. I would have the Alpha Academy. I think they guys would be all right for this type of match, and I would have the two Olympian folks. I can't remember their names.
Group Brothers.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind them. That's what I would probably do, and then add in another heel tag team like the Viking Raiders or something like that. If they're both available for WrestleMania.
Will so and so be back?
If he was, I'd throw them in. So there's what, like 7-8 teams.
Or you do Theory and Waller.
Or Theory and Waller, yeah, exactly. Boom, there you go. You got 8 teams for WrestleMania. Here's a tag team turmoil. Elimination Rules, last team standings, tag team champions.
That would be absolutely crazy. I feel like Triple H is almost the guy to book that, though.
If he has,
I feel like he would find a way to actually go, yeah, screw it, I'll do that.
If he sees the vision and understands the words from my mouth, if he understands my accent, and he watches this, which he never does anyway. But if he did, just do this, bitch. Just do it. Because one, it would be fun for the tag team. Because there's an element of who is going to be our champions? Because there's 16 guys here.
Exactly. It would feel properly like you'd be like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? Like, but it's been a while since a match did that to you in a positive way.
And you
when was the last time that a match had you genuinely? I think I would be going back to the NXT the Fatal 4-Way, the Falls Count Anywhere.
Yeah. That long for me, yeah. It was that long for me.
Sorry, not the Falls Count, the Iron Man, the 60-minute thing, where it was a match where I was genuinely like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but I like it. Yeah. So I could go for a bit of that.
From an element of surprise for WWE, it's been that long for me for something like this. It just came to me like that. Like, I was just thinking this whilst I was listening to you, and I was like, "This is what I want to do." But I have gone for the new guys. I actually want to see them be given. I want to see Dunn and Bate be given a chance. I doubt my idea is not going to come to fruition anyway, but I still want to see these guys as champions, because at the end of the day, I'm sick and tired of Priest and Balor as tag team champions. Priest is already washed or unwashed. He's a waste. His money in the bank run sucks. They should never have gave him it. And Finn Balor is useless. Like, he's done nothing significant for a very long time. I like the Judgment Day, but I'm bored of this. I'm bored of them. I want something fresh.
Yeah, it's been too long.
So I'm going with new catch personally.
Yeah, no, I like that. I would, and as I say, if I was saying like what I want to happen on this show, it would absolutely be Dunn and Bate. No doubt about it at all. I really like.
It's because you won't get. That's because you won't get up, Danny. That's because you won't get up, you lazy bastard.
Well, I've gone on record as saying that Pete Dunne is one of those guys you can put against anyone. So, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate would surely be a team that you could put against anyone. And I would love to see them get their moment. I don't know if they will. They might just not quite be hot enough yet. But it'll be a good match. It will. And I can see a really fun finish. And you get Pete Dunne and Finn Balor again, which is one of my favourite underrated matches from NXT history. If you've not seen that match, please, people, it is fantastic. It's Finn Balor at his best against Pete Dunne at his best, and it does not get spoken about often enough. And I just
Balor's second run as champion as well. It was so strong.
Yeah, my favorite title reign of all time. Just so good, so good.
So I'm assuming you're going with a safe choice, and you're going with champions retain then.
Yeah, I'm back in Judgment Day to win on the predictions. Unfortunately, I'd love to be wrong. I would, but I don't think we're gonna get Dunne and Bate as champs here.
Even though I just realised I don't want them included in my ideal tag team turmoil-esque match, but I really hope they do not include the Wasted Truth, because that's what I'm calling this tag team now.
Yeah, Miz and R-Truth.
I don't want to see that again.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's boring. It
Yeah,
bores me.
there's no real need for them, but we'll see if they do book it. And I mean, the thing is, we were talking about the double fall finish. They could do that here because Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are a SmackDown team, Judgment Day are a Raw team, so they might actually split the tag belts before WrestleMania, which would be another way of doing it. So if Pete Dunne ends up pinning himself and Finn Balor in some kind of roll-up combination, and then it's like, okay, well, we can't determine who won that, and then they do an angle where it's like, okay, well, we're gonna have to settle it, and we'll settle it on Raw, and then Nick Aldis goes, we'll settle it on SmackDown, and instead they go, no, okay, so we'll just split the tag belts because we can't agree where to have this match. And like people would be saying like WrestleMania, and instead it's like, no, because we want our own set of tag belts.
I know other companies, in particular one company is doing it right now, but I haven't seen WWE do a best of series for a while for any title.
It'd be fun, but I'd rather see it between them and DIY than the Judgment.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just missed the fact that they haven't done one so long. I wouldn't mind a best of, say, 3 or best of 5 or best of 7 series for the tag titles.
The last one happened in NXT, didn't it?
I think so, but that was a long while ago, like ages ago.
I, for some reason, wanted to say it was Briggs and Jensen, but I don't think that's right. It was something weird.
Either way, the current NXT.
You would go back to Sheamus and Cesaro, but I swear NXT had one.
Hey, Justin, no, we're not ending soon. Don't worry, we're still going. Good to see you.
Yeah, we're aiming to get to
more.
Not long before 7:30, so you've got a good 30 minutes left at very least.
We've been it's 27. It's 27, and we've been live for 57 minutes now.
Yeah, and we've got up till. No, this has been a very pleasant conversation, which is nice. But yeah, no, we're aiming to keep going. We've got up till about 7:30 anyway, so you've joined with plenty of time left. Don't worry, get your comments in, get your. So for people who are just joining, we want your thoughts on the Rock's segment last night. I know you didn't hear what we thought about it, but we'd love to still hear what you thought about it if you have just joined us. We also want to know your predictions for the Elimination Chamber. So far, we have spoken about Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax, big, talking points there. And we have just finished our discussion pretty much about Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate going for the undisputed tag team titles against the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And we're moving on now to the fun parts.
Or specifically, we'll talk, or if you're in Germany, again, politically, the no escape, as it's called in Germany. It's not allowed to be called Elimination Chamber.
But is it a Gargano escape?
No. So, two chambers. Flip a coin. We're going to call it heads or tails. So, I'm going to give it to you on this one. So, flip it.
Okay, I'll say tails here.
Heads. Right. Men's chamber.
Okay. You want to start with the more interesting one. Fair enough.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, I don't blame you for that.
Just want to say, Justin has completely echoed our statement. He said, "Rock segment has me confused, although I love heel Rock." Yep, I think that's pretty much how we summed up, mate. That's exactly what we thought.
Yeah,
really
just
weird.
It didn't make sense. It was really weird. And speaking of really weird and not making sense, that's actually the opposite of this Elimination Chamber build. We've had the classic sort of qualifiers, maybe some
at long last Elimination Chamber qualifying.
Not so much like weird winners as such, but do you not think it's been like sort of weird losers?
Yeah, I mean, of all the first people to lose a match was AJ Styles.
Yeah, but like AJ Styles and Sami Zayn, like they are two like, really good workers. You've just not got in your Elimination Chamber.
They should theoretically be in this match. I mean, I would have Bobby Lashley and one of Paul or Owens removed, probably Owens, I would have had Styles and Sammy in this. It's a better
Well,
blend. I don't know.
does Logan Paul have to be in it if he's, you know?
No, not unless there's going to be a payoff for him that goes to Mania for his title, because there's two
Yeah, I
potential
mean,
challengers
he's
here.
US
For him.
champion, so he doesn't necessarily have to be here. And then you could have AJ Styles in it. Quick side note about that AJ Styles stuff. Obviously, slap Carl Anderson. Why was Machin so bloody offended by it? Bitch, you weren't in the original OC.
No, she
You're
wasn't.
like the adopted stepdaughter. Just
but that's just it.
going. You hit my real dad. It's like you barely know him.
She just treats it like the group. I think it's just purely she treats the group like family, and she sees it in the sense of like she wants them to get back on the same page. She wants them to get back.
When have we ever had a segment where Mia Yim has looked overly fussed about being in the OC? She's come to their aid, like, you know, she helped out with the Judgment Day. I don't remember a segment where Mia Yim went, and I'm doing this for the OC because the OC are my family and the OC are who were there for me.
Yeah,
you know, maybe she did it. I didn't watch this segment if she did say it, but it's not like Zelina Vega with the LWO, where you feel like Zelina Vega genuinely cares about that group because she's shed tears over that group. You know,
she was associated to them before, but that was a very long time ago elsewhere.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, you can be associated with people, but even if you're not associated with people, you can work that you're associated with people better than Mia Yim has. Because when she was like so offended and like distraught, I was like, no, that just feels out of place. Like, you haven't cared that much, so it's weird for you to start caring now.
Agreed.
You know. But anyway, so AJ Styles, who's not in the chamber, but we have the folks who are there, and this is a really exciting match. One thing I wonder about it, do you not think it's lacking the standard workhorse? Like, you know, someone like the Rollins or the Styles or the guy who's built like 220 pounds or just under, never eaten a carb in his life, and is the guy that's going to hit things like the Phoenix Splash or fold someone into a submission. This is a very like strike heavy chamber match, because LA Knight isn't that guy.
I think they need to go down that route though, because you've already filled up with so many brawling types. The only one who's a mixture of brawling and technical is Bobby Lashley, but that's it. There's nothing.
Yeah, but even then, Bobby Lashley's technical is like still strength submission. It's not like manipulation. So
true. It's not even like a Nakamura in this as well. Like this is
exactly. Really... Nakamura would be another guy where you'd be like, yeah, no, you could put him in and he could be like the Iron Man of the Elimination Chamber. I mean, are they gonna give that spot to Logan Paul?
I hope not.
Probably best built to do both, but we've not actually seen him do submission or technical work. So
I don't think he'll pull that off. I don't think he can pull that off.
Yeah. So is Kevin Owens the guy? Like, this is. I think it's going to be a really good match, and I'm really happy with the field generally. I think it's working. It's missing that indie style worker, the guy who will like take everyone's moves and dish out his moves on everyone, and really it's missing Seth Rollins. When we think about
the likes of Rollins, Styles, then you've mentioned Nakamura. I've mentioned, like, not just that. Even though he's not really a world title contender, and I wouldn't put him in this match, but I think he's another example. Like Chad Gable, for example, is another one.
Chad Gable would be a good fit. Santos Escobar would be a fit. I mean, they were willing to give someone to be a bit more workhorsey.
like even a Kofi Kingston as well.
Kofi would work. Just someone who, you know what I mean? Like, everyone in this match is built big, just about. Yeah, and LA Knight, who also isn't technical. He's like, you know, it's the smash mouth offense, as Michael Cole would say. You know, he's not a technical guy. He's not going to tap people out. He's not going to fold people, twist their bodies that way. And he's not. He's very good, and his character works great.
I'm inclined to agree with Justin. I wouldn't have had
just another striker.
Logan Paul, and Logan Paul for me would be the one I'd take out. I would have replaced Logan Paul with Styles or Zayn.
Yeah, Styles would have been the one that made more sense based on, you know.
The fact that you've got a chamber match and it doesn't have the best all-round talent in WWE in it is mental.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't.
Styles is the best all-round.
It doesn't have the all-rounder. This match,
and you need that,
is missing the all-rounder.
It's like because obviously Justin, Danny, they'll get this, and yourself, Ailey, as well, because we all watch it. It's like going into a football game, and you've got the perfect attack, you've got your strong defense, you've got the right blend of a box-to-box midfielder, and you've got your attack midfielder, but you're absolutely fucking useless without an efficient defensive midfielder. You need somebody who can just linchpin that area. This Elimination Chamber is missing the irony. This chamber is missing a defensive midfielder. It's missing this linchpin.
It's like if you had a football team and you just put all your best, if you were on FIFA or whatever, and you just put all your highest rated players in the midfield, and you ended up with 3 attacking midfielders, as you're saying. Like, sometimes you've got to put someone in who's maybe not as hot because they make the system work better. I'm intrigued to see how this match works out. I'm intrigued to see who they go with as the workhorse, because, and here's the other thing, you know, you might be saying like, oh, well, Drew McIntyre can go the distance in matches, and yes, he's very good. It's also not believable.
I think
the workhorse can't be 6'5" and 280 pounds.
I'm thinking
it's likely to,
yeah, I think the workhorse is likely to be Lashley. I think it's likely to be him.
Does it work? He's nearly 300 pounds. He's built like a country.
I do think Lashley's selling is slightly better than McIntyre's when it comes to that believable factor. But I get your point, though. He should be the workhorse. Like, those two should be just killing everyone in this chamber and just coming down to them as the last two standing. But yeah, it's missing an all-rounder.
That's the problem.
It's missing his Makalele. It's missing AJ Styles. It's missing the key defensive midfield linchpin.
Or if you want it to be really different, put Carmelo Hayes in it. Keep his heat going.
Not a bad shout either.
Because Carmelo Hayes could do it.
Even like a massive shock is I don't know why he's in a bloody stupid tag team with Baron Corbin, but even like a Braun Breaker and a one-off in this match.
I think Breaker would be more of the same problem. I think if you were to remove Lashley and put Breaker in, that's fine. I wouldn't want Braun Breaker in, and then you'd be like, yeah, and you're going to do like the workhorse role. So basically, you know what Seth Rollins does? Yeah, you do that. But I think if you said to Carmelo Hayes, see what Seth Rollins does, you do that. Carmelo Hayes would do it. And it would be believable. And he's a smaller guy than pretty much everyone else in the match. So, yeah. Maybe they go with LA Knight to do it. I think LA Knight's in-ring is the worst part of his game. Like,
he's just a generic brawler.
He's okay in the ring. His character's brilliant. His promos are incredible, but So I am intrigued to see what way it goes. I'm maybe less intrigued about the winner. I mean, they could surprise me, but I think just with the amount of spotlight they've been giving someone over on Raw, it would be very weird if he didn't then win it.
It should be a Raw guy winning this anyway. I know that's a little bit hangway for me to say, but for me, the world title's on Raw. It should be a Raw guy winning this. I know they'll come over to Raw anyway if they win it. They'll come over to Raw, but for me, it should be somebody who's already on the Raw roster.
Yeah, like the SmackDown guys are there to be like, oh, hello, welcome in. but not
It's like
winning
the tournament
it,
the first time. It's like the tournament the first time when I said it should have been Rollins. It should have just been a Raw guy from the very beginning, and they've done that. Just since then, it's just been mental. But hey ho.
Yeah, but
I'll answer this one. So we are going to get the show. We are going to do the showcase on stream. I'm going to be doing the showcase for that. We are going to do the career type thing they do, and then we'll do GM mode, and then in between we'll do like random video matches and stuff. But the showcase 100% will be coming to the Steelchair for 2K24. I can guarantee you that.
Decent. So,
Yep.
do you see a shock on the cards here, or is it Drew?
For me, there's only 2 winners. It's between 2. I've already written 4 off, and for me, the 2 winners are actually the top row. For me, it's either
Drew or
Drew or
Orton.
Randy. Yeah, and I think Drew McIntyre will get the pin, but I haven't got a clue who he's going to eliminate last. There isn't a lot. There's only 2 heels.
Well, I think Drew and Randy will be the final 2, and Drew will go for the Claymore. Well, Drew will go for the Claymore. Orton will RKO him out of the Claymore. You'll get a 2 count. Yeah. Like a 2.999999 whatever, as Tom Campbell would say. Fantastic guy. But yeah. Get like the nearest fall possible, and then Drew McIntyre will beat Orton in the end anyway. But I think it's a fairly safe bet that you're going to get the RKO from the Claymore. Like, Drew will run to hit it, and Orton will grab him instead. Obviously, you got to be really careful about doing that, because if you don't get... Basically, what I mean is, Drew makes the run up to the Claymore and gets RKO'd before that, because obviously, if he leads from the back, Orton can't grab his head and jerk it forward and turn him 180 degrees in the air. That's not how anything works. But there will be a way for them to basically do a Claymore like build spot, or even like, Orton dodges the Claymore and hits the RKO, and then you get the 2.9 count, and then Drew comes back, wins the match. I think Drew and Seth is the match again, which is a little weird because we saw it twice. But Drew's got himself over into that position. He's earned it.
I still have my skeptics about him getting the Mania match, but that's for different reasons, which I've already...
But yeah, I don't think he'd be anywhere near a WrestleMania match for the world title if CM Punk didn't get injured. I think as a plan B, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, but for me as well, if the aim is for him to have this title match, he needs to have signed a new contract. I still go by the view that he shouldn't be in a Mania main event-esque match if he hasn't signed that contract. For me, that basically means it's just rewarding someone who isn't committed.
Several reports came out this week to say that it is signed, but nothing official. And it was Keane I was talking to about this, and he said, "Oh well, they don't tell us because then there's jeopardy about will he win or not. We'll be surprised if he wins and we don't know that he's signed a new contract." It's like, I'll be honest, I'll be surprised if he wins, like, because of the character work, or not because of, or he doesn't win and I'll be surprised because of the character work. I don't want WWE or any wrestling promotion to get to the point where the reason that I think someone is going to lose a match is because they haven't signed the bit of paper that keeps them in the company.
Exactly.
So I want it to be like storyline reasons, like in-house reasons,
No, I agree. I think you're spot on with that. I think you're completely spot on. So, yeah, I'm going with Drew. I know you're going with Drew as well. So we're pretty much similar on that. The outsider's Randy Orton, but apart from that, nobody else is generally worth watching in a main event match.
Well, Orton Seth was a good match when they did it at Mania before, so just I could see an argument for running that back at Mania again, but I don't think they'll do it. But yeah, so I mean, what else? So I guess we could talk about, based on
Hopefully
this
never.
match, where do we see
Hopefully never.
where
mate,
do we see everyone's Mania plans going as a result of this match?
Yeah.
You know, what do we see happening? And there's questions all around it, really. I mean, obviously, if we think Drew is going to win, then what does Randy Orton do? Does he perhaps end up with a match against LA Knight?
I think so, because initially I'd hoped it'd be LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the US title, but I think they're still gearing towards Owens versus Paul rematch.
I think they were surprised at how much people liked it at the Rumble.
Yeah. And I think they've gone round that, and they think this might be the better option after all, and that's what they're going for. And I actually agree with it. So yeah, that's why I think
it was a good match. You know, as I say, it's not making any of my end year, best of lists, but it was a good match.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can't grudge them that at all. And if they do it again, then yeah, another good match. We want to see it. But yeah, I think Orton and LA Knight's interesting. I just haven't worked out how you do it, because LA Knight, it's pulling off, isn't it?
Yeah.
And is that Roman Reigns' fault? Yeah, probably. But it is cooling off.
It is.
And I don't think it helps, because he could have won the Money in the Bank when he was incredibly, insanely over, and everyone wanted to see him do it. And the only reason that he didn't do it is because they gave it to Damian Priest without a plan. At this point, it is clear to see there is no plan. There has been no plan for Damian Priest cashing in. And I saw the question there: when will Priest cash in? Well, you try and fit it in, okay? The only moment I can see happening now is if he cashes in after Cody finishes the story, and then we get an epilogue to the story. I think that would get the wrong type of heat.
Yeah, it would.
People would be like, okay, so not only were you going to take it away from us, but now, because you didn't get your way, TKO, you have Cody finish his story, and then he immediately loses the belt again. Nah, not keen on that. It makes more sense for Priest to cash in on Drew after Drew beats Seth. That makes more sense.
It does, actually. Because
obviously Drew beat Priest on Raw, and
it stirs the pot on his position as well.
Yeah. Well, Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre have been some weird, just interlinking communications since before War Games. So once again, there's a bit of story that you can play on there. Drew McIntyre was in the Judgment Day.
They just don't want to share Rhea Ripley with a Scotsman. That's all
exactly.
It is.
They're insecure that the Scotsman is gonna take the girl. Which is weird, because also Rhea Ripley's quite clearly the leader of Judgment Day, so she'll fuck who she likes. She'll call all those damn shots.
She probably does backstage. Nobody knows what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so I think Orton and LA Knight would be fun. I think Drew and Priest coming out of WrestleMania, they had a good match on Raw. Yeah. I did like the match. I don't necessarily think Damian Priest is anywhere near world title quality. But say they wanted to give Damian Priest a 3-month or even a 2-month reign by cashing in on Drew and then keeping it. Drew could then beat him and then you're hopefully getting closer to CM Punk coming back. Punk can go straight for Drew and the world title, and then for WrestleMania 41, Punk will get his WrestleMania main event because he'll be the world champion.
Or Gunther takes either title at back.
Yeah,
at
or
Berlin.
you know, you've got Gunther chilling there. Gunther and Drew can obviously pull out an absolute barn burner. So yeah, plenty of ways for things to go. I suppose the one thing that you're like,
obvious.
oh dear, it's Bobby Lashley. Oh god. I find it weird that Bobby Lashley's feuding with Karrion Kross again.
I've got no interest in. I mean, I like Karrion Kross, I like Bobby Lashley, but I can't be arsed with either of them right now. I just can't be arsed.
They already fought. This has happened, and it happened like this issue's continuing from Tribute to the Troops and the US title tournament, but there's been no mention of that tournament.
Yeah.
So this is now a new feud, and it's weird. And the Street Profits are crap.
They are. Thank you.
Lashley deserves better. And Karrion Kross, I don't believe the guy.
Yep.
See, when he comes in, like, I'm going to, you know, it's the apocalypse. I'm going to end everything. I'm going to take everything. SmackDown will be mine. It's the end of times. It's like, Dick, shut up. You're like a fucking, like, you're just some mad cunt on Twitter at this point. Like, you're just some mad prick on Twitter. Like, I'm going to end the world. I'm going to blow it up. Like, okay.
All we need him to do is just embrace the fact that yes, he does so many different forms of martial arts. Just do that against Nakamura, or go home and bone your wife. Like, the only option. I know which one I'd prefer.
Well, again, it's he's not still on. I'm sorry to say it, and I bet he was better in Impact, but he's not on the level of a WWE main event right now.
Even from he was all right in TNA, but to be honest, like, he hasn't been the same since that NXT run when he got put up on the main roster, and they fucking turned him into Spartacus on drugs. Like,
and obviously
they took away all of his presentation. They took away all the presentation from him.
Yeah, and that's a redacted move. So, you know, like, obviously he did that, but
they're just lucky that he wasn't. They're lucky he just didn't turn into a Lars Sullivan.
Why did they bring him back?
I don't know.
Because he's done nothing. And I'll remind you, when he came back, he attacked Drew.
And it was fucking interesting at that point. Like,
and he was saying he was going after Roman. And then there was never another word about him going after Roman. He never tried.
Yeah, they never actually went with it. They just had him.
There was never any payoff to the Roman Reigns stuff. There was never any payoff. Like, he and Roman Reigns haven't spoken to each other. So you talk about ending times, and you're going after Bobby Lashley's varsity children. No, I'm okay, actually. I don't need to say this. Bobby Lashley deserves better.
That hourglass is still upside down.
Yeah. Bobby Lashley deserves better than working with just heatless nothing, with a faction that was supposed to be like a big deal, and it was a sort of big deal when it debuted, and they attacked them, but it's, funnily enough, gone nowhere because
nobody cares about the Street Profits either. Like, they can't work. They suck. Like, they genuinely suck.
If they attacked the New Day, I think it would have worked. Obviously, like, the New Day have been injured, but you know what I mean? If they attacked a tag team that were, like, established and good and doing well, you'd be like, you dicks. Like, go after DIY, because AOP kind of caused DIY to split up, and you could tell a story where AOP are like, we know what happens after we beat you. Ciampa stabs you in the back.
Exactly, but here's another thing as well. here's another thing as well, and I stand by this. Name anybody, and I think Montez Ford is good. I've said that before on the show. I think Montez Ford is good, but name anybody that genuinely gives a shit about him besides his wife. No one. No
Well,
one
the
cares
people that
about this
say he's
guy.
like a future world champion, and
They're
I don't
delusional.
see it.
They're
I
they're
think he's
delusional.
Kenny Omega. I think he's just
No.
another Kenny Omega. I'm not saying he's as good. He's a B-Tech Kenny Omega. All he does is everyone else's shit and dance. And that's it. In fact, to be fair, he's a B-Tech Buddy Matthews. Buddy Matthews is a
better.
B-Tech
Thank
Kenny
you.
Omega. So he's a C-Tech Kenny Omega, if that's a thing. You know, just a pale imitation, and he shakes the
He's a-
ropes like the Ultimate Warrior, and he
he's a
tells us to
C-class player.
suck it, and he dances before every move, and I just hate him, and I just want him to go away. Just
See the
don't
people
like
that
Montez Ford.
see the people that were saying as well when they turned heel, or when they joined Bobby Lashley the first time, and they're like, "This is gonna work. This is a great pairing." We done a show together, I think, after this happened, and I immediately said from day one, "This will fucking flop." I said it from day one. This would be utter wank, and they are both wankers. They can't wrestle. They can't talk. They're not believable. It's the same attires. It's the same shitty music. It's just two guys who can happen to jump good height in the air, deliver a terrible frog splash, and they think we give a fuck. Take your pride and piss off. You're not worth it. You're not interested.
No,
Go to
no.
fuck. Just get rid of them.
Yeah, no,
Release them.
they're-
They've released.
they're
they let go
not.
of a
They're not very good.
they let go of someone who is so much better, and I look forward to watching him tomorrow on the Rev Pro app. They let go of Mustafa Ali, who's so much better than them both combined. Like,
Yeah, that's a weird one
on.
because you would think that they could have just like gone with Ali and Ricochet as a tag team or
Yeah.
something, you know.
exactly.
And then
No.
you spare Bobby Lashley this crap as well. But yeah, no,
I
it's just,
genuinely feel sorry from the fact he has to work with two dweebs. Like,
Yeah,
this is a
it's
guy
just
who
'cause
has been a world champion twice, and
he's
working
not
with-
helping them get over. They're sinking him.
This is a guy who, in all our respect, even though he was pinned by Vince McMahon 17 years ago, this is a guy that made him look like a wimp, and that was great. Now Bobby Lashley is reduced to the status of the Brooklyn Brawler. He's just nothing.
Yeah,
He's
I
nothing.
don't know. It's more like he's been reduced to like.
He's
I was gonna say
he's
Billy-
like that.
I was going to say
It's
Billy
like when you-
Gunn, but I'm actually.
We're going
I'm trying to think who manages a tag team on. I'm trying to think who
Not
manages a
today.
tag team on AEW, like where they're like a legacy manager, and then the other
Well-
two. So imagine Jim Cornette managed Top Flight. I guess would be the best way to say
To be
it.
fair,
Right?
you could
Jim
use
Cornette
the
isn't going to get Top Flight over. Top Flight will just sink Jim Cornette. It's the same thing. Like Bobby Lashley
another example.
isn't helping Dawkins and Ford get over, but
Yeah.
Dawkins and Ford will quickly sink Bobby Lashley, and we're seeing it. You know, people don't care.
I was also going to say as well, you could say the equivalent of Blanchard when he managed FTR. He's still a legend, but people are more interested in FTR than Blanchard.
No, I don't think that's what I'm saying though. What I'm trying to say is
I
that
get what
the
you're
guy,
saying, you mean,
yeah, the guy managing them is over, but he's managing a tag team that is not over, is not interesting, does the same things despite being heel now, just does it in darker gear with darker music, and no one cares about the Street Profits, so it's just sinking Bobby Lashley. Every time Bobby Lashley comes out in the stupid suit beside the Street Profits, you forget, a little bit more of you forgets that he's a two-time WWE champion.
I've got a good example now. I've actually got a good example from, funnily enough, from the Attitude Era. It's like the equivalent. It's like the equivalent of Chronic. It's the equivalent of Chronic with Stevie Richards. The Chronic were they were a fairly good team, but when they came to WWE, it was the sense of they were genuinely just boring. Stevie Richards was obviously coming off the heat of Right to Censor, so people really still believed in Stevie Richards from that sense. They sunk him to the point that he was working with Victoria in 2002, wearing pink, didn't know what he was doing. He sunk.
No,
huge.
It happens, you know, and it's a shame.
Yep.
What's possibly even more of a shame is this unfortunate women's chamber that we can talk about now. But guys, do get your predictions in for the men's chamber if you've not done so already, as we discuss an eclectic field, we'll say. I'm happy with 3 of the people in this match so far. And I think the other 2 you could have done better.
Yeah.
Obviously, Becky Lynch, it feels like she's here to win it. I would love for them to do the turn, you know, the swerve bro, and it's actually Bianca Belair. But they've not built that match. They've been building Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley, so, you know, whatever. I would absolutely have Bianca Belair in it. There's no question about that. And I like that Tiffany Stratton's here. I think she's really good. I think this is a good opportunity for her to show what she can do, get a high-profile elimination. I think the other 2 names in this match so far are bloody terrible.
So that would be Liv Morgan and Naomi.
Yeah, so to start with Liv Morgan, I mean, okay, so you're number 30 in the Women's Rumble. You don't really do anything. No one really believes that you're going to do anything. But also, I think this is the most damning thing about Liv Morgan. So obviously, what happened with her. We hope that she's, you know, over that now. You know, in a better place and everything like that. But
she's driving off the other side.
Bad
pun. I had to get that in there.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. Yeah, but
legal highs.
No one missed her.
Yeah,
like it's the most damning thing. No one missed her.
It was glorious to not see her on TV because I didn't find her interesting as a champion.
Yeah, no one cared. She vanished, and no one cared. There wasn't like massive signs or massive like Twitter calls of "We want Liv," "Where's Liv Morgan?" It was the people who liked Liv Morgan already going, "When do we get Liv Morgan back?" And then those people, and then WWE went, "Okay, number 30 in the Rumble is going to be Liv Morgan," and those people went, "Yay, Liv Morgan!" And the rest went, "Oh yeah, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's here." Everyone, do you remember Liv Morgan? She was like here not that long ago.
It's like all the adults in the room went, we want to see someone with interest, and all your kids go, "Yay, yay, we got the bitch."
I wouldn't even say kids. I don't know what Liv Morgan does that appeals to children. Liv Morgan's whole thing is that she's like mentally insane, but not not the way that Nikki Cross.
She's crazy. We know that Liv Morgan appeals to, I would say, to like 18 to 24-year-olds for the wrong reasons. But
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's people that want that sort of thing, and that sort of thing's available for that sort of people.
Probably stalking our DMs and all that shit because we've seen that before. People making fake accounts.
But you know, all of that exists and stuff like that, and you know that'll exist for any anyone and anything in this business, to be fair.
Absolutely.
In the business of wrestling, but yeah, no one missed Liv Morgan. So when you go, okay, well, she's going to be number 30 in the Rumble, and you're like, okay, Liv Morgan's back. And then you go, oh, she's going to be in the Elimination Chamber as well. There were crickets. It's like, oh, great. Liv Morgan's in the chamber, everybody. Get ready for okay ring work.
I know who I wanted. I know she's going to be coming across. I know she'll come across as the workhorse of the chamber, but I know who I wanted in it. I did not want Liv Morgan. I wanted Jade Cargill. I wanted a little bit.
Yeah, maybe not. She's just maybe not ready for that yet, and that's fine. I thought she was like
for what she produced in the Rumble. I genuinely liked what I saw anyway. I would have had her in this over Liv Morgan because she has more star power than Liv Morgan as well.
But the other thing is, right? We know that they're not. We know they're not going with Liv Morgan. Okay, we just know that. So use the spot on someone that you could maybe get a little bit more over.
Why not put Baszler in this one? Like, I know she lost to Becky Lynch in the first call, but why not Baszler as a generic like?
Yeah, well, I know Baszler's there, but I was gonna go weirder.
I'm glad you're. Please don't say Zoe Starks or Ivy Nile.
No, why not like Indy Hartwell?
She's fallen off a massive cliff.
No, but like someone that's like.
As long as it's not Candice.
Not had their chance, and you could say, well, what's the difference between Indy Hartwell and Liv Morgan? The crowd wouldn't care anyway. Okay, well, the crowd didn't care when Kofi was in the chamber, or when Kofi was like going into the gauntlet.
Exactly.
When the crowd didn't care. They like Kofi won that care. And remember, people debut and other people don't care about them. You're supposed to get the chance to show off. Liv Morgan doesn't need another chance to show off. We know what she is.
She's had multiple chances.
She's improved. She's a former SmackDown Women's Champion. She beat Ronda Rousey twice.
We're just to confirm to you, Justin. So we're just talking about the Women's Chamber and why some of these participants make sense. We're now ripping at Liv Morgan because she's an absolute waste.
It's a waste of a spot because you don't get anything new out of it. We know what Liv Morgan can do. Use this spot on like Indy Hartwell or someone, Tegan Knox, someone that is like, oh, we've not seen what you can do before. Let's see if we've maybe got a star waiting. Roxanne Perez, do something. Jesus.
I'm gonna say this as well. Like, even though she's on NXT, I wouldn't mind an NXT inclusion. I would like Cora Jade, but obviously she's injured, so you can't use her. Lyra Valkyrie as an NXT Women's Champion would have been.
Well, Lyra Valkyrie is bland as fuck, but I would imagine it was like Lyra Valkyrie will do it, and then what they do is they have Tatum Paxley follow her into the pod.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But I'm gonna say this now
because then it's like it's 2v1. But Lyra doesn't want the 2v1. But obviously Tatum's like just her like crazed stalker. That would at least get something over. What does Liv Morgan do here other than get beat?
I'm gonna say this as well because I'm not afraid to speak my mind on this show, even if it can get me in trouble. I've never rated Liv Morgan once. I've never found her appealing. I didn't find her interesting in the Riot Squad. For me, it was Ruby Riot and the other one who's fucked up is Valhalla. Like, Liv Morgan was there. If anything, she has a company worker and all that, and I credit that. But in terms of I can get behind her, do a fuck. Never once bought into her. I mugged off her title reign the minute she won it. I was like, well, this is boring. Like,
yeah, and I was like, well, you could give it a chance. And people were happy to see her win the Money in the Bank and everything. Like, we can't rewrite history, okay? People cared then. My issue is they don't care now. And
she's a waste.
Liv Morgan.
I don't want to get up at like that early on a Saturday or a Sunday, whatever. I'm not waking up at that time to watch Liv Morgan.
She could instead, after the Rumble, have maybe built an issue with someone so that
Just
we
get
could
injured.
maybe
Just
start
get
a
injured or-
feud.
Just get her.
Oh no,
injured or
I'm
suspended.
not calling for people to, like, you know, get properly injured. I only do that for the joke wrestlers, and Liv Morgan isn't a joke wrestler. She
can't
does
wrestle.
seriously try. No, but she
Oh, she-
seriously tries.
Yeah, she does.
And
try, so
the-
have her written up.
yeah,
So have her
I would
written
say
off TV
that.
then.
No, but the problem, as I say, the problem is if she built like a personal issue with someone, like, you know, she went after Shayna Baszler sort of thing, you know, and you start building a feud, and then you have like a feud on the TV show for a few weeks, see how people are taking to Liv Morgan. Don't just go like right after making her number 30 in the Rumble, go, oh, okay, well you can also be in the chamber as well. So why? Why is she
She's
getting
not-
to do all of this?
Yeah, it's too much special treatment. Like
She's
she
not
hasn't
very
earned it.
good, and I can assure you she wouldn't be in the match if Charlotte Flair was fit.
She wouldn't be in the she wouldn't be in the match anyway if there was genuinely talent there that can do a mixture, not just one thing, but is actually likable.
Why haven't Damage Control got someone in this? Like, as in,
Who?
like, not Bailey, but the others.
She's not in damage.
Why
She's
haven't?
not in damage control anymore. But like
No, but
full
what
on-
I'm saying is, I didn't want people to say like, "Oh, Damage Control's dead." No, I mean like I don't know what you call it. I'm trying to think of like the Japanese word for evil.
well, they're still just damage
but I don't
control. anyway.
remember
I
it.
get you. They're still called damage control.
It's
anyway,
like
but I
it's
get
like
your
Damage
point.
Control Dark, but whatever that would be in Japanese, so that it sounds cooler.
Yeah.
Why isn't one of Asuka or Kyrie in this? Because, you know, Damage Control want like full domination. You could also continue then building the match, because you could have Bailey somehow get her way into the chamber and eliminate the member of Damage Control, and it continues building that. Many things you can do. And what's really
don't know.
funny is we've spent
I'm not sure.
quite a bit
That's
of
good
time.
question, though.
Yeah, we spent quite a bit of time there talking about Liv Morgan, and that's not the one I have more of an issue with. Because,
Yeah.
fuck, can we give up on Naomi? I didn't even want to see her back. Like, she hasn't improved. She's regressed. She's older, so it's not even like she moves the same way as she used to. She's slower. She's moving like Natalia. And everything she does has that little extra like bit of jeopardy of like, oh, are you gonna really injure someone? Are you gonna really injure someone? And she hasn't done it yet, but
I don't think
I
she,
wouldn't
don't
be
think she'll do
rewarding
that.
her. And again, it's
I
like,
don't-
okay, well, you were a surprise return at the Rumble, and we have to do something with you. Tell you what, go into the chamber. It's like, well,
She definitely.
no.
She wasn't. She definitely wasn't a surprise. That was very expected.
Yeah. Whereas, why didn't we have like Naomi and Liv Morgan have a disagreement, which could build to a match that I absolutely do not want to see, but at very least it'd be something where both of them, it's like, oh yeah, this is an issue that we've got. This is an issue that we've both got, and we'll settle it. And then you could have like a TV match, a couple of TV matches. Make sure that people like want to see both of these people, because I think they've horribly miscalculated how over Naomi is. They've looked at Twitter and gone, she's got a big following on Twitter. Most people don't care. Naomi's
Yeah.
not very good. I would have much rather seen Kaylee Ray be in this match, because Kaylee Ray can wrestle. It's a major plus on a wrestling show if you get the people that can wrestle to do the wrestling. I don't like where that's gone, unfortunately.
Yeah. Again, I just don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know
But
what they're
yeah,
doing.
so do you think that there's any way that it's anyone other than Becky? Because the one I'm holding on to is Bianca, but I
No,
think I'm predicting Becky. Like, it
I've
just has to be.
gone for the obvious unwanted pick I've gone for Lynch to
I
to win
wouldn't
this.
say unwanted. I think Becky versus Rhea at WrestleMania is a huge match, and I think it'll be a very good match as well. It's not unwanted. This isn't me being like spoiled, or maybe
don't-
it is. Maybe it is.
We don't need this.
But it's
We
not.
don't need this.
Yeah, I'm not aiming to sound spoiled, is what I should say. But I prefer Bianca Belair's matches to Becky Lynch's matches, and would rather see Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, which is a
Mhm.
first time thing that they've really been sort of teasing us with, and they're both on the front of the game, so it
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, I agree.
I'm interested in your perspective of wrestling. Is it business, wrestling, logic, or entertainment?
It's a mixture of all four, but when I watch wrestling, I'm watching
It's
it specifically for
the
the art of
least-
wrestling.
The least important there for me as a fan is business. I understand when someone's drawing, like selling a lot of t-shirts, drawing
not
the
what I
huge
watch.
gate, signed
watching
the
it for
massive
that.
contracts. You know, if I cared most about business, then I would want The Rock versus Roman Reigns, but I don't want that. Story first. Give us a strong wrestling match that accentuates, that builds, that strengthens, that progresses that story. And then give us a logical continuation or ending to that story through a good wrestling match and proper entertaining storytelling. And entertainment isn't always that I have to be like crying tears of laughter. It's not that deep. I don't mean entertainment in terms of I am amused right now, but I mean just make me want to watch it. That is the key thing. I don't care about what numbers you do. If I was the only person in the world watching the show, I would want these same things. But a lot of people watch the show, a lot of people talk about the show, tweet about the show, everything like that. So business obviously becomes important. And business is more important to the people who are seeing the red lines. You know, they're seeing the red ink on the balance sheet and stuff. And to be fair, I think for WWE for a while, there's not been much red ink. It's been a lot of black ink. They're in the black at the moment. They are hugely profitable, you know, and they've just like sort of broken all sorts of records for the sale and all sorts of records for the Netflix deal. So business in that sense, I completely understand. I can get behind and I can talk about. But when you're like, oh, Roman Reigns sells lots of shirts, Roman Reigns sells lots of tickets, I always come back to no, WWE sell a lot of shirts, WWE sell a lot of tickets. It comes back to the brand. And when I'm watching the show, I want to separate myself from the brand. I want to watch the wrestling show. I want to remove anything about the outside noise, about celebrities, anything like that. And I just want to watch an entertaining wrestling match that has a story that continues or concludes in a satisfying, gratifying manner. You know, I want to feel like my time has been rewarded when I watch something.
Same.
And wrestling at its best does that. And Cody has been the fullest example of this. Our time will hopefully be rewarded in April when he finishes the story. And everyone's going to be happy about that.
Yeah, I'm on the similar lines, except for me, a story can be told through match quality as well. Like, you can tell a story through the matches as well. You can have a story based from matches. Like, I prefer match quality to a story, but I also like the involvement of two when they immerse together. But one thing I always reiterate on, for me, if you're telling a story, is when it's actually at its peak, you go for the jugular right there and then. You don't carry on and it loses interest, because at that point you're done. And I reiterate, the bloodline is a failure from that reason. People are going to say, oh, but all the records, all the money made and all that. Yeah, so what? You lost interest before you included Sami Zayn. You lost interest after you had him out of it. I don't care about that anymore. I've got no interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anyway, this has been a delightful show. So, in short and in summary, for the people who want to go back and listen, you absolutely can. Of course,
You
this is
definitely
about to
can.
become a video that you are able to go back to. So we have discussed first up The Rock versus Roman. Well, no, The Rock and Roman Reigns in the ring last night from SmackDown. Their live mic, their unscripted promo, the epic confrontation that wasn't. We have discussed all of the Elimination Chamber card as well, given our predictions, and we've ragged on Liv Morgan and Naomi a bit. And if either of you are listening, we don't mean it personally; we mean it professionally.
Yeah, we don't hate you. We just didn't want you in the match.
Yeah,
it's just normal.
absolutely.
Like every fan, we've got our choices. That's just how it works.
Definitely, and you have a choice to. Well, no, you don't. You better be here for the next Steelchair. Funnily enough, I'm actually not around to watch Elimination Chamber live. Everyone else is like, "Oh, it's 9 a.m. on a Saturday. Great." I work on Saturday mornings, and I'm a tutor, so I have a lesson for an hour. So I won't be able to watch it live. So all my, sort of notifications and stuff will be going off, and I'll be watching it when I'm home. So there will be no Steelchair reaction immediately after the Elimination Chamber because I won't have seen it. So unless Reece, you're going to jump on and do a solo, or you're going to get Kane or William or whoever, someone from the chat, anyone you know.
I don't intend on getting up early to watch it on the Saturday, so I'm tempted that even though Elimination Chamber have already finished, I'm tempted just to do I'll either do like a live well, not live, but like a watch along on the channel, like after the show's ended, like as
I
a watch
think
back.
that's a silly idea.
I love madness, but
I think because in the chat you'll just have people spoiling the matches.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they can if they want. If it's a shit match, then they can do it.
So I don't. Yeah,
I don't know.
But anyway,
a reaction of sorts. We'll do something. We'll figure out.
I'm sure we can do a Saturday night reaction if there's much to talk about. But yeah, in any case, people, we will catch you next time, whenever that is. Hopefully next week after the Elimination Chamber. We hope you all enjoy it going down under. Hopefully WWE can pull out another good show. They're on excellent run at the moment. Really enjoying what they're doing. But yeah, so hopefully that continues and you can take us home, Reece.
Absolutely. We are going to do the reaction show if not next Saturday, it will likely be the Sunday. We'll see what we can do. Tier list, we'll do it for the week after. I'm going to plan out a few shows for the Steelchair in the meantime. March 8th, obviously, is when 2K24 comes out. So we'll do some content around about that as well. That'll be in the gaming side. But in the meantime, to everyone that's watched, thanks very much for watching. Enjoy it. And hell, you might go down under. But if you're in German, no escape. Or in our case, who dares wins. Bye, guys.